Hey, I'm Heidi. I'm with 3 Kisses Candle Co. and today I'm going to share with you my tips and tricks on my market events. Many of you asked how I do such successful markets, and I'm just wanting to share. I'm no guru by any means, but and there's things I still need to learn, but I feel like for the most part I've been pretty successful at getting sales for my events. The first thing is we prepare for the show. Usually setup is a day before or the morning of. My smaller ones, it's the morning of. Things that are like in the middle of the road or on the sidewalk, of course those are going to be in the morning. But like the events at a lot of craft shows already have the event area scheduled, so you're able to set up the night before, and there's security and such. So I have a checklist that I obtained off of one of the Facebook groups, and from there I kind of tweaked it to what I like. It breaks down everything. I'll put it in the comments, but it pretty much breaks down everything you need to remember to bring. And even though I've done quite a bit of shows, I still have to refer to that because there's always something I will forget if not. So I know on the checklist it says light a candle. Preferably for me, I don't light a candle. I've had comments that people can smell them, and that's when they come looking for them because they don't know what that smell is. So as they pass, they're like, that's where it's coming from. So I don't have to light a candle. But I also don't like, for the safety reasons, I utilize every bit of my table space, and so if I lean over, I'm bound to catch fire, or one of my workers or one of my customers, and we definitely don't want that to happen at all. So I don't like the candles. I also get helpers. Helpers is a big thing. You at least need one. My minimum is 2. My husband usually helps do the setup because we need the weights for the tent, opening the tent, the heavy stuff, setting up with the candle stuff. That's me and usually one of my other helpers. But my husband usually comes to set up and take down with me. But for sure, like, there's times where you'll get an influx, and it's crazy, it's so unpredictable. You'll have nobody for like a few minutes, and then all of a sudden like 5 different groups of people come, and you'll need to of course you want to acknowledge them, and you can't be everywhere at once, so you'll need someone to kind of assist and direct them, and I'll get more into the questions I ask them, kind of getting that sale. But you need helpers to help you because there's going to be a large influx all at once, and there's nobody. It's never evened out. That's not how it works, of course. And your most important thing is your setup. I'll post pictures in the comments of how I set up. Again, I'm sorry for the quality of the videos. I'm new at this. I'm gonna get better. I just want to bring y'all the content and get y'all what y'all need, while also getting my inventory together. So I'm going to eventually get better at these videos, but just wanting to give you what you need. Setup. I'll put the comments in the pictures in the comments, and then eventually I'll know how to add it in these cute little videos, okay? But give me a break. I don't know how to do all that yet. Okay, so for the visual of the setup, you want to make sure that the color scheme is even all along. I go golden white, and so all my decorations are usually golden white. My height, I always put some shelving. The table shelving is easy to break down and put up. But it gives it height and something to look at. It's a visual effect, and it draws the crowd in. I guarantee you, I definitely have a difference in sales if I have just an overwhelming amount of candles spread out versus those same candles in a visual effect with height and just something better to look at. Because if you walk in and everything's all over the place, kind of like your desk at work, you're like, ugh. Rather than, okay, you have a place for everything. So you definitely want to not overwhelm the customer. You want to make the most out of your space. I see that some people prefer, and it's totally fine, whatever works. This is just what works for me, where they make a U shape. Well, there's some events where I could see that would work. However, many of my events are outside and I'm in between two other tents. So I'll put my tent walls up. I have an ABC canopy and that thing is amazing. Yes, you need two people to set it up, preferably. It's quite difficult by myself, especially because I'm height challenged. But I find it sturdy, it works. Now, once it's set up, I have the walls for the tents that go up. And I put 2 tables on either side of me and then one at the front of the tent. I do not do the U shape where they have to walk inside the tent. I try and put myself as a consumer. If I'm curious and just want to look at the items, but I don't want to commit to buying, I have a hard time saying no to people. And so I don't want to feel as if a typical salesperson is going to kind of like bombard you for that sale when you get in there. And so I try to reflect on that when I am making a sale. I put that to where they can approach they are able to feel like they can walk on by if they chose to do so, rather than if they walk in, it's more personal. And a lot of people don't like to be enclosed. So I give them that chance to walk up and be able to walk away if they feel like it. Okay. So, and that really works for me. So make the most out of your space. So I do that, make the U, but to where they can walk up and not in my tent. And I find that working. Now that I'm growing, I'll have to utilize 2 tents, and I'll have to figure out a better way to do that. That way we can make the most out of 2 tent spaces. You also want to have your bigger candles on display. So yeah, I have my smaller because that's the more common purchases. But you also want to have those displayed, because sometimes it'll pop in their head, oh, I wonder if they have a bigger. But you might be busy talking to somebody. They won't have to wonder if they can see it. Like this past weekend, I did a show. I had my largest ever made candle. It was 3.5 pound candle in this beautiful crystal glass. This lady walked up. She saw I was busy talking. I could see her looking at it. One of my helpers immediately jumped onto that sale, and they acknowledged the customer, and that customer bought a $70 candle that fast. They felt acknowledged, and it was on display. Had it not been there, had it been at home and I said, hey, I can make this, a lot of your sales will be impulse buys. And that's the part of getting out there to the market events. A lot of them are there to shop, and they will do impulse buys. They don't want to wait. Now, I have some customers who do place orders, but for the most part, people are there and they want right then. And so just have that available. You also want your stock handy. So I do a display, which you'll see in the comments again, and I put out all the scents so they can smell. But in the back, on a back table, I also put a line of all my candles. So I'll put them in ABC order in the back. And it's nice and organized, so don't overwhelm a customer who could see it. I mean, they don't have quick touch access, like grabbing access. It's for us, the workers, to be able to grab easily, rather than them taken from the display candles. I can go and easily grab them and see how many I got left. I can easily go underneath the table from, okay, if I got my hot baked apple pie here, right underneath the table under the hot baked apple pie, I'll have more to restock it if it goes low. You'll also see, so I do a variety of different items, like my car Freshies, my wax melts, and my 7-ounce candles I put on clear display and easy access to, and I have my bigger candles on another table as well. But I have one space designated for my car Freshies, so you can walk up, spin them, whatever. Same thing for my wax melts. I have a peg spinner board thing, and it spins. I got that off of Amazon. I'll put the link down below. My 7-ounce candles has its own table. And on there I put some of my bigger candles as well. So they can smell them. I have the same scent in all of them. So if one group of people are looking at my candles and they specifically ask me if they have Freshies or wax melts in that same scent, it's yes. You already know what it smells like. It's right there. So you can have 3 different people sampling your scent, and you have 3 possible sales going on at the same time. So make sure they have easy access to everything. Now, some tips while at the show. Don't sit. Now, you'll see that in some of my pictures, we are sitting. The show hadn't started yet. So make sure you don't sit. What I found when I finally got to sit, people think you're taking a break, and they want to give you that break. So they will continue to walk on by. Not to be rude. They don't want to be rude. So they'll continue to walk on by. Now, those people have come back. Not all of them, but you don't want to lose that sale. You don't want to even chance it. Do not sit. And if somebody comes up to your table, I know you don't want to seem like the typical sales, but be interested in them more than the sale. Learn your customer. So a lot of them I'll see come back and I'm like, oh, hey, and I can relate to our previous conversation. Not everybody can do that. I get it. But I'm telling you, that's probably the biggest thing. And as a consumer as well, I probably would pass up somebody who didn't look interested in me as a customer. That's totally just me, though. Greet your neighbors. So I call them my event neighbor. So proper protocol, I've learned, is that you got to buy from your neighbor. Not everybody can afford that, and not everybody's interested in what your neighbor has. Like, some of them paint certain things that I don't particularly need. But I will acknowledge them, and I might find something smaller that I might want from them, or that I can gift to somebody who might need their product. But nonetheless, make sure you talk to them and just learn them and learn who they are. You'll see many of them at the same event, local events, trying to do the same thing you're doing. It's just get sales and find the next good event. So in making friends with my market neighbors, they tell me with their best events, and I share with them what works for me. And many of them have joined me at new events. And so you can gain a lot of knowledge from people who's been doing this. So get out there and get to know them. It may be hard, but if you're wanting to see an increase in sales, try these things. This is what working for me, so try it. And next tip, best fragrances first. So the way I usually organize my 7-ounce candle table, I put on the top shelf all my best fragrances, my top 5 fragrances or 6. And then the next one is all my new fragrances, things that just come out or recently come out and you want them to smell. third row is usually my seasonal fragrances. And my fourth row, I usually put with sales, but they're not my top, you know. And then off to the side, I'll put the ones that aren't my best sellers, but you'll have people who come up and ask for random types of scents. Baby powder is not one of my biggest scents, but probably once a show, somebody comes to ask for one. So I make sure to have the stock of those items that people randomly come ask for. And then when they approach me, they'll ask, I'll ask, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'll ask, what kind of scents you normally like? And they're like, oh, all kinds. I'll hand them my best sellers. Most everybody. Sometimes I don't even ask what kind of scents you normally like. If I see them just kind of looking and they don't really know, you can kind of tell if they not really sold yet. Like if they aren't really interested in candles, but they're just kind of curious as what you got going on. Open your bestseller. So I open it and I hand it to him and I said, this is our number one seller. Sold. From that point on, they are invested in smelling every other candle after that. So then after that, okay, sometimes my bestseller might not be for them. Okay, so then I'll close that and say, here's my next bestseller. One of the two will get them invested. Not kidding. It's crazy how it works. And so they're usually sold. Even if they don't walk away with one of the two that got them invested in my candle line, they buy. And so maybe that's a way for you to approach them. Give them your best sellers first. Say, here, try this. And sometimes they may say, well, you know, I'm usually into clean scents. Well, that gives you an idea of where to start with that customer. So definitely know your scents. Definitely know the scent notes, because some people will walk up, hey, I like coconut. You need to know what you got that has coconut in it so you can easily grab it and make that sale. You can also say, hey, I don't have that here, but I am willing to make it. You can give that opportunity to them. I've had 2 people ask me if I had unscented candles. Nope, not on hand, but I can sure make you one. And I'll deliver it. Most of the time it's local events. I'll deliver it to you. And so I've had sales that way. Let's see. Make sure you have a variety of items offered with access to all of them. Like I said, I have the car Freshies, which sell the best. And wax melts and my 7-ounce candles, full display. And then I put a few that's on my 7-ounce table of my bigger ones. And then on a back table, I have them for full display so people can see they're available. So make sure you have that variety of items available and access to all of them so they know they're there. Another one, get the hint. When somebody just wants to browse alone, some people are more on the introverted side and they don't like the salespeople. They don't like to be overwhelmed. You'll notice those. But that's your key in recognizing it and taking a step back and saying, okay, let them shop. If you overwhelm them, they walking away because they don't know how to handle that situation. So learn people's mannerisms and when they just kind of want to shop alone, okay? Don't take it as them being rude. Just, offer them their space and say, hey, I'm here. If you have any questions, let me know. Another tip, offer a discount and or an influencer. So I offer, you buy 3, you get 10% off your entire purchase. If you buy 3 candles, you get 10% off your entire purchase. Well, most of the time they're buying 3 7-ounce candles. So they'll get 10% off their 7-ounce candles. That's only $1.50 off 1 candle. It's not bad. But in their head, they're not going to do the math that fast. They just see they're getting something. Try it. Try that. Or you buy one wax melt for X amount of dollars, but if you buy 3, you get it for this amount. I do mine for $7 each, and if you buy 3, you get them for $18. So that's $3 off if they buy 3. I'm still making a profit, and they get 3 of them. It works for them. They get more for their money, and they're more likely to buy 3. A lot of times they will buy 3. So try that. Also, suggestions. I said offer a discount and or influencer. So the influencer, I cannot understand how I'd never got into the business of processing other people's payments. How is Clover and all these people making money without even having to get in any kind of contact with my customer? They did nothing to get my sale. Nothing. But they get a percentage of it. Every single one of them. If they pay with cards. I am an accountant. I make sure all my sales are paid, all my taxes are paid for each one of my sales. I don't try and slide anything. But I will say that if you pay with cash, you get a free gift. And I give them, it might be one, I call them my oops candles. Like my wax melters. If they just got a little flaw that I don't like, let's say I might have messed up the label or it was in the sun, it's not one of the most prettier ones. They know that. They're getting it for free. It's going in a wax melter. They don't care. Guess what? They're going to pay with cash to get that free gift, and they're not worried. They didn't have to put value on that free gift. So they're more than happy. They didn't have to pay a surcharge for using their credit card. I didn't have to pay a surcharge if they used their debit card, and they're getting something out of it. So more than likely, they're going to pay cash. Guess what? Everybody wins. So try an influencer. Suggestion box. I don't always do my suggestion box, but the show before last, I did a box, and I allowed them to tell me what some new scents you would like for me to try. Here's the holidays coming up. Things I can do different. People are open to giving you those suggestions. People want their opinion to matter. And by giving you that gave them some sense of satisfaction by getting it off their chest. If that makes sense. It's a bit of psychology, but I hear it works. I've tried it, and it does work. And now I'm able to provide to them new scents that I know my customers want. They told me themselves. And so with that being said, also listen to your sales. When you're going, and I don't know how y'all do it, but I keep track of my inventory. I use the Clover system, and I track what each person is buying. So I'm able to see what sells the most and what does not. Without that, I'm also able to tell you how much didn't sell or which ones are not my best sellers. I listen to that. I will no longer make any more of what does not sell. I immediately recognize that. And if 2 or 3 shows later, these items aren't moving, I know not to buy that scent anymore. I know to try something else in its place and focus more on what does sell. I put those for a certain percentage off and let those go till there's nothing left. But listen to your sales. Tweak your line towards that. When I started candle making, I asked my friends on Facebook what scents y'all normally like. They gave me those scents. Those are not my best sellers. Nope, actually those are my worst sellers. And I mean, they like them, So I have them for when they ask for that scent, but once they're all gone, I won't make any more because it don't bring enough sales to constitute me keeping that item on hand and taking up space in my closet. Also, market your event. So when you go to an event, when you book an event, market yourself. Say, I'm going to be here. A lot of them said, I came because I knew you were going to be here and I needed more candles. Now I have my candles in stores. I have my candles at home. I'm building a candle studio behind my house where they'll be able to shop just like a normal store. I just don't want the brick and mortar. I can use it at my house. And when I'm no longer done with candles, I never had to pay rent. None of that. I can just make it my movie room. So people can come here, but they look for me to post where I'm going to be next. People like to shop. So make sure you let people know where you're going to be next. Many events allow you to make a post marketing your product. So once you book these bigger shows, you can send them your advertisement. Be prepared for that. Make you this. It can be used at every single show because not every show will have the same customers. They'll have some of the same customers, but not always. Make you a marketing sheet with your pictures and whatever you want to detail so that they know what you have to offer. And that event markets for you. They'll say, hey, these people will be here. They'll tag you. Share that. Share your own post. Do it on your personal page. Finding more events around me worth attending. Somebody asked me, how do I do that? One, getting with my neighbors, my market neighbors, my event neighbors, asking them, what's your best event? And I share them with what's my best event. Have no problem doing so. I will also check the Chamber of Commerce website. There's also events pages, market event pages. So I live in Louisiana, South Louisiana. There's one that's for the South Coast. And so I can keep up with what's going on around me. So check out Facebook groups, get involved. You can also ask the head coordinator of the event you're working at. Hey, do you know any? She should know some. He or she should know some. Because she don't want to book the same day as the next event. So she should know what's going on in the area around her. At least the one before and after her, she should be kind of familiar with. So just kind of get with them. They can tell you some other events that's going on around you. Vendor fees versus sales. So I had someone ask me to talk about the vendor fees versus how much sales they bring in. My personal experience, the smaller the vendor fee, the smaller the event. The bigger the fee, the bigger the event. Usually the extra fee goes into them marketing that event. It's usually people more experienced and and the reason it's more expensive is because they have to pay for a bigger area to put more booths. Smaller the rent, the smaller the area usually. That's only my experience. Now I've just recently gone to one probably about 3 weekends ago that was only $20. And I did an easy $3,000 at that event. So it's kind of an indicator, but not a full definitive that the smaller you pay, the smaller the event, because you can be very successful. But that was a newer event in a smaller populated area where a lot of people come out. It also depends on the weather. But usually the smaller the amount, the smaller the event. And so Larger fee usually means heavier traffic. I've also done some that were really expensive, and it wasn't actually my best event. It sure wasn't my worst, but I've had some that were cheaper and done better. So I've had one that was a $20 event, and I made my money back. I probably made $150 at that event. But I can also say it was a terrible rainy day. It wasn't highly marketed. It was in I don't think it was in the greatest location. And it was more of like a private group putting it on. So like some type of Jeep association, but it wasn't a big event. And so the Jeep group was there, their families, and then you had a few of their supporters go. And so they walked around, but it wasn't a major event. I did make my money back plus some, but that was probably the only one I didn't do major sales at. So that's to answer that question. So again, just to sum it up, I find it is worth doing the bigger fees because I get more traffic. I get to meet new customers, get bigger sales. Try these tips. Just give it a shot. If you're here because what you're doing is not working, you have nothing to lose. Just try it, because I'm telling you, it has worked for me. If I can answer any questions anyway, I can. Just send me a message. Let me know, but I'll be back. Just let me know what else y'all want to know about, and I can make another video. Thanks.